Bricky. So we're gonna watch the ASTARTES. Did I say it right? Oh shit, I'm not wearing the right shirt. Whatever, that's okay. We're gonna watch the ASTAR t-shirts. Chaos A-Star Tees. 15-minute, 10-minute, how long is this section of Bricky's every single Warhammer faction explained video. I did actually like the last one more than I thought I would about the Chaos Gods. It is also really fun reading your comments, and I think that as much as I enjoy or don't enjoy Warhammer, I love reading your comments about Warhammer 40K stuff because you guys are so enthusiastic. I just respect that and I love it, and it comes through your comments, so thank you so much for commenting and teaching me things and having conversations with me. And even like sometimes I see people having conversations with each other that I really enjoy reading, and it's just a lot of fun. One person is very, well, maybe it was rude, maybe it wasn't, it was like, what do you mean, why are you doing this? You do it for the views and the engagement. That's why we all do any of this, my guy. But yeah, for sure, I do it because you guys want it. But it is really made so much more enjoyable for me when I get to interact with you guys, which is why this channel is fun for me as a non-gamer, you know? When do I stop calling myself a non-gamer, and like, what do I call myself if I have yet to play a game but still know all this stuff about the world of gaming? And I will try, give it a real, not a chips challenge try, a real try to playing a game when I hit 100,000 subscribers. So if you are not subscribed, please do so. Sometimes people tell me that they've been unsubscribed or their notifications get turned off. If you have subscribed, feel free to check to see if you are still subscribed, and if you have your notifications turned on, thank you. That's great. If you don't, also totally fine. Either way, thanks for your support. And if you would like to support me another way, these are my novels. I am a self-published author. Magic required and Dominion required follow the story of a Celtic demigod trying to seek a redemption he's not sure he deserves. Bloodkin and Curses, which is coming out on May 4th, follows the story of Dyson, who is a new vampire discovering a world she never knew existed while trying to avoid an ancient curse. If you have read my books, please review them. It is super helpful, and either way, just thanks for clicking on this video and hanging out with me. All right, let's get into this, this mayhem. Okay. Teach me something uncomfortable, Bricky.
So Horse and all of his boys, all of them in the Primarchs, they have all also become Chaos Boys, and they all have their own special Chaos Legions, specializing in so many different things, just like the Adeptus Astartes, the Angels of Death, the regular Space Marines. Chaos Space Marines aren't a whole lot different than the regular Space Marines. They have the same armor, generally the same training and toughness. They just specialize in different kinds of things. And also a lot of the Primarchs have ascended into greater is it greater demons? They're demon Primarchs at this point. Ascended into
that's before, that's after?
I don't... Demons. They're demon Primarchs at this point.
See so much of a
difference.
difference.
Horrifying man-demon hybrids that are pretty awesome, if I'm going to be honest. They look really, really cool. But
that's
them
one?
And their associated legions that they are a part of are all kind of going out there.
I don't even understand what I'm looking at.
For everyone else. Considering the raw strength and firepower of a legion of Space Marines, imagine that entire legion just converting to chaos and immediately fighting you. It's generally pretty horrifying. There's a lot of them, so I gotta write them down, but you've got the Emperor's Children.
It's generally pretty horrifying? What in this world is not?
With Primarch Fulgrim.
I mean, look at this picture, disgusting.
These people, they are some messed up people. They're just sensory overload, tons of drugs, tons of torture. And I think Fulgrim is a demon Primarch right now, and oh god, I am terrified to see what that man looks like. At least on the tabletop, because Emperor's Children are not good people. You've got the Iron Warriors,
legit,
kind of like opposite of the Imperial Fists, with Primarch Perturabo, I believe is his name. They're Chaos Undivided. They just kind of serve Chaos in a general aspect instead of choosing one of the four. But the Iron Warriors are big on the siege and fortification, and they're basically entirely against the Imperial Fists and a major rival. Perturabo, I believe, is also still alive, and I'm also very interested to see what he looks like, because Demon Primarchs are badass. You've got the Night Lords with Primarch Conrad Kurz. Conrad Kurz is dead, which is good because he's a sick fuck. But the Night Lords are generally about terrorizing people and terrorism.
Okay, this is making me a little bit confused because I'm realizing something now from what Bricky is saying that maybe I didn't fully understand before, but there is some kind of like prime story that is being told, because he's saying things like this person is still alive, this person is dead now. So they weren't before in whatever this story that everybody who plays any Warhammer anything is following. Is that right? Because that is huge. That seems very mind-blowing.
Generally about fear, and rightly so. You've got the World Eaters with Primarch Angron still alive, also excited.
Ew, are those heads hanging off of?
If you think you've known an
I don't
angry
want
person, Angron is the angriest son of a bitch you will ever know. Angron removed parts of his brain that didn't make him angry, so he could be angrier. Angron.
That's so stupid.
You've got the Death Guard with Primarch Mortarion. They actually have their own special codex and their own major
cool kind of picture that I don't want to look too closely at because I'm sure it's actually gross.
And look at him. Look at him. It's so cool looking.
Those wings?
Of course, Nurgle based, obviously.
With an eyeball?
So very slow but very tanky. You've got the Word Bearers with Primarch Lorgar. Lorgar is, I believe, still alive. I don't know what's up with him at the current moment, but the Word Bearers are generally the people who caused all the major problems in the beginning. At least I blame them for it. They're little assholes. You got the Black Legion with Primarch Horus. Get fucked, nerd. You've got the Alpha Legion with Primarch.
I don't get it. Oops, that's the volume, not the.
They're little assholes. Generally the people who caused all the major problems in the beginning. At least I blame them for it. They're little assholes. You got the Black Legion with Primarch Horus. Get fucked, nerd. You've got the Alpha Legion.
I don't get it.
With
Somebody
Primarch
explain that joke to me,
Altharius
please,
Omega.
because it looked great.
Chaos, I think. And then finally, you've got the Thousand Sons with Primarch Magnus the Nerd. Thousand Sons also have their own book, just with the Death Guard. Magnus is also a tabletop model. He looks super cool, as you can tell. And they're all super heavily Psyker and kind of Egyptian themed. Looks super cool, as you can tell. And they're all super heavily Psyker and kind of Egyptian themed. They look pretty neat. But overall, with all of these Chaos Space Marine factions, you can play as a lot of different ones, but the main ones that you can really work at are standard Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, as well as the Death Guard and Thousand Sons, as they are the most fleshed out, especially on the tabletop at least. See this right here? This is a really good way to describe the Chaos Space Marines.
Okay, give it to me.
What the thick-headed fools with their broken corpse of an emperor fail to understand is that not only can they never defeat us, but they cannot hide or flee or shield themselves from the triumph of chaos.
Okay.
They are finite and we are unbound, undivided. They must not err, or they shall fall to heresy. All who fall join our cause. Every imperial fool who dares to open his eyes is a willing recruit. They strive merely to hold back our fury and might, and it consumes them. Thus, you can see
I like the little cursor right here.
We lurk not only beyond their grasp and at their gates, we lurk within the darkness of their souls, on the tip of their tongues, in their tortured dreams. We are them, but freed from the shackles of ignorance. We are them, grown strong, evolved. We are them, but so
Sorry.
As hardcore as that quote is, the saddest part is they're mostly right.
Intense.
Chaos is basically unkillable.
Okay.
You could probably get rid of Space Marines, a decent amount, the Chaos Space Marines that is, but every soul that dies goes to the warp. Every Chaos soul will end up back in the warp. And depending on how hard you killed them, they will come back at some point. Every demon you banish will return at some point.
Oh.
Chaos is unstoppable. The warp is unending. And while maybe there is at some point some way to stop them somehow, the resources to do so, the requirements to do so, are so far beyond the reaches of man and the other races at the current moment that really it's just an unstoppable force that just keeps on coming and is just barely being slowed. Chaos is by far the biggest threat. They are without number. Their
I like this color scheme
everywhere, and yeah, they're pretty
the purple and green and teal.
I
I'm
promise,
into it.
we're done with humans now. Let's talk about some Xenos.
Okay. Oh, another one already? Okay, let's do this one too, because I like her outfit.
Eldar, or also known as the Eldari.
I missed that.
So let's talk about the Eldar, or also known as the Eldari, which are a super hyper-specialized and very technologically advanced race of, well, elf people.
Okay.
They were, as well, responsible for the creation of Slaanesh, the newest demon god.
My girl.
Do that?
My guy.
Debauchery on a world-ending
My god?
scale. So back in the day, it was just Khorne, Tzeentch, and Nurgle. And the Eldar
And somebody just thought, let's have too much sex.
Of years. These Eldar, however, have a bit of a sensory problem. You know, every kind of pain or feeling that you have is a little bit amplified compared to the normal.
I'm into the outfit.
However, with Eldar, as their race advanced so excessively, and they became so self-reliant, and everything became so easy, there was no requirement for food production anymore. There was no shortages. Everything was basically done. Everyone was so comfortable, and that comfort breeded this weird sedation, and that sedation breeded the requirement for more.
It's so fucking interesting when you think about wealth. Comfort breeds sedation. Sedition. You know what I mean. Comfort breeds people who are assholes. I could say a lot of things about that. I'm not going to. Maybe later.
And more debauchery.
Debauchery!
Debauchery! Debauchery! When everything you have can be so easily acquired, you will end up down this road of pure debauchery. All of the senses the Eldar had that were so powerful, things like feeling, happiness, sadness, and just evil and good, all needed to be satisfied and satiated. And the desire to satiate these senses grew more and more with worse and worse debauchery. It started off with things like sex and drugs.
Just kidding.
Becoming so much more rampant because these are the first things you generally turn to when
realized
requirements for living are so easily accessible. It would get to the point that made Sander Cohen in BioShock look sane. All right, this is the kind of debauchery it led to. It was constantly satisfying and satiating these sexual and sadistic or masochistic fantasies that only elevated and elevated. And this was species-wide.
She looks like a baddie,
People
though.
started going down darker, more depraved, and more violent paths as time went on. However, some people didn't entirely take to that. Some of the Eldar were looking at this depraved species that they had become and said, no thanks for me, dog, I'm good. And they bailed.
Yo!
These are the craft world Eldar.
I like them!
They left on these giant continent-sized starships called Craft World. They believed in learning the old ways of the Eldar and pushing away from this depravity and debauchery and going back to their main roots. And so they would segment themselves on these giant craft worlds far in the outer reaches of space. They even had this thing called the Webway. Remember what we mentioned about warp travel with the Imperium? Well, the Eldar had something way safer called a Webway. And the Eldar Webway is actually like a pocket dimension kind of thing. And in that pocket dimension, there were also more horrible, depraved groups and clans that would spend their time in there. And if you imagine the debauchery was bad already, these were debauchery X10. So all of this continued, and it bloated.
Wait, I thought we were following the nice ones.
Slaanesh just burst forth. All that emotion, all that mental, thought processes, I suppose. All of this in such a condensed space. Don't forget, this is all being shot.
I love that. I have a version of that in my novels.
Into the warp. All of this depravity right into the warp. So what happened? Boom. Slaanesh was
That's super interesting. I really love that, because people believe it's real. And I have a version of that in my novels that, all the gods are real, they just vary in strength because belief in them has changed. So one of the things I have in Bloodkin and Curses is that Dyson's maker, Zarace, he has a burn mark from a cross that he got when people believed that crosses could burn vampires. But crosses don't burn them anymore because people don't believe in vampires anymore. And it's not necessarily the number of people, but the strength of their belief. Anyways, I love this section.
Off 90% of the entire Eldar population. Untold.
Okay, I need to go back.
Happened, boom. Slaanesh was birthed and killed off 90% of the entire Eldar population.
Did she kill the nice
Untold
ones?
Trillions.
Trillions.
Had their souls ripped from their bodies and their actual fleshy bodies devoured by Slaanesh demons. The entirety of the Eldar race was eaten alive and their souls consumed to the Prince of Pleasure. All of them got fucked up. It was so bad that it literally ripped a warp hole into the fabric of the materium called the Eye of Terror. That's literally this like quasi horrifying gateway portal from the materium and the immaterium right next to Cadia. And it is horrifying.
I don't get it.
So this Slaanesh, also known as She Who Thirsts by the Eldar,
slaughtered
the entire population except for a couple. Those in the craft worlds were actually not affected by this as they were so far in the reaches of the galaxy.
I like them, right?
Crazy crack, that birth of Slaanesh only affected the ones in the center. So these craft world Eldar were able to escape, but Slaanesh got their sights on them. Every time an Eldar will die, their soul doesn't just pass into the warp naturally. It goes straight to Slaanesh, craft world or not. What about those people in the webway?
Oh my gosh, you know what I just noticed?
To Slaanesh.
Is the hands down here. That's a nice touch. I didn't notice that
What about
before.
those people in the webway? Well, imagine that giant birth happening, but they were only able to just barely get a grasp onto you. Slaanesh was just barely able to hold on.
Oh, but they're the grossest.
These people are the Dark Eldar, or also known as the Drukhari. The Eldar population right now is so massively small. It is minuscule compared to any of the other most of the other populations in the universe. The Eldar are consistently having issues trying to get their population up because as their souls are constantly being hungered from Slaanesh, they realize their entire species is doomed.
And
they understand it very well. Since the time of the fall, our race has been haunted by what we, in our reckless pursuit of hedonistic indulgence, gave birth to. Though our dreams once overturned worlds and quenched suns, we are now but fitful shadows clinging to the edge of existence.
Is this talk about humanity when we are continuing to go off the rails? Is that what this section is about? People now, but different, but like a metaphor? Because that's what I'm seeing, a metaphor.
All the stars in the sky cannot blot out the hateful glare of the red moon's eye. The birthing place of the great enemy pulses with all the malice of a demon that is dreaming, casting its shadow over all we have ever done.
40K is so extra.
Every twisted strand of fate and casting of the runes leads me to this time, to this place, and it is clear that the final battle awaits me at the ancient Crone worlds. A conflict the likes of which has not been seen since the Mon-Kai warred amongst themselves and their corpse of a seer fell to his traitorous son. Is coming, and all my steps lead towards it, no matter that I walk other paths. I see the stars stained red with the blood of the Mon-Kai, and though their wars do not concern me, I would gladly let them destroy one another. I know that to avoid this fight is to condemn my race to inevitable doom, and though all I see is darkness, I know that I will not flinch from my destiny. And now let's talk about cute plastic models.
Bro, I'm straight up
having a good time. What am I at here? 20 minutes of recording time. Okay, Craft World. Okay, these are the ones that I like. So this next section is going to be great for me. Because this last section was actually great. It did not leave me shrouded in dread. I don't feel like I need to watch something happy because I really loved that. That was so cool. Okay, let me know if I misunderstood whether or not I like these guys, please. I need your help. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had fun and laughed a little bit with me. I hope that you are all happy and healthy, taking care of yourselves and each other. And as always, until next time, may the force be with you. Live long and prosper. And I'll be back.